So welcome to the Technical Steering Committee, Node.js Technical Steering Committee meeting for February 21st, 2024. We'll follow the agenda that was posted in the issue 1507 in the TSC repo. Before we get started, any announcements that people would like to share?
Yep, there's one. I have just published on Node.js collaborators the Alpha Omega form. So if you would like to apply, the form is available on the discussions in the team. It's available to members only. So if you need to understand more about that, feel free to ping me.
Okay, sounds good. Any other announcements? Okay, if not, in terms of updates from the CPC and board meeting, I guess we don't have our reps. Trying to think, the one thing that I think is worth mentioning, but I'll mention that later on under what some of the issues, so I'll leave it till then, is around the Collaborator Summit. So let's just move on to there. So the first one is spend from Node.js Bug Bounty Security Fund. So that's an issue. Tobias, do you want to take us through that one?
Sure, it's mostly here for awareness of the TSC. The majority of the TSC has already approved it, and we're seeking consensus until the end of today. There's not much we can say about it publicly, but I sent an email to the TSC mailing list that you all should have gotten last week, I believe. So yeah, unless someone objects by the end of today, I'll consider it approved.
That's perfect. Today considered approved. That's good. Okay, we can move on to the next one, which is the events, the Collaborator Summits for 2024. I don't know if anybody else has any other updates, but the one thing I did want to mention is for the travel fund, that was discussed in the last CPC meeting. We have a couple of applications, but we decided to actually defer approving any of them until next week. Oh, there's Joy. I'm going to promote Joy. The main thing I want to say is make sure you get your applications in by next week because there is a limited budget. And once that budget's full, it's not that it won't be considered, but I think your chances are much lower. So, the CPC deferred until next week so we can get a bigger picture of who all's applying to make a decision versus just, the first people who applied. So basically, if you're planning to go to the Collaborative Summit and need to make a request from the travel fund, make sure you do that before next Monday, is my message. Joy, I don't know if you have anything else you want to add in terms of the Collaborator Summit.
No, I sent an email to those who responded in the attendance poll as a reminder with some information, including the information about travel fund. So please read it if you got the email.
Okay. If there's nothing else on that one, then the next one is deep dive advocacy and promotion for the project. We have the next 10 team is holding a deep dive next Thursday, the 29th from 11 to 1 Eastern. The goal there is to look at advocacy for Node.js overall. Basically answer the question is, what should we be doing as a project? Are we doing a good job of doing that? If the answer is yes, then we don't really have anything else, but usually we come up with here's some areas we could improve and here's some next steps. There is a plan to send out a tweet basically asking people to self-identify as advocates, to see if we can find some other people outside the project that would be good to invite and get to that session, as well as, we're planning to send them. I hesitate to call it a survey because that invokes more than what we're planning, but we're planning to send a few questions just to maybe see if we can get some information for people who self-identify as advocates as well. Otherwise, like the others, pretty much on the agenda for awareness. Any questions on that before we move on? Okay, so if not, let's move on to the strategic initiatives. I'm just going to pull that up. Give me one sec. So Antoine is here, but is no audio. So I think we'll skip core promise APIs. I don't know, Chenzong, if you have anything you want to say on Shadow Realm.
I'm sorry, I was on holiday, so I have no updates this week.
Okay. Joey, anything on snapshots?
There's some request still open for making snapshot work with coverage. So if you have time, please take a look.
So
Because
making
the
snapshots
coverage,
work with what was that?
to make it work with coverage, because the coverage build, if you do the make coverage
Coverage.
or any other target that's used to generate coverage, it's currently failing the snapshot tests because custom snapshot does not work with
Okay.
coverage.
Okay.
So I have a pull request and I'll paste it to the doc. But other than that, that's all.
Okay, that sounds good. In terms of next 10, the only thing is really to mention is the deep dive, which I already mentioned above. And I think that takes us to the end of the strategic initiatives. And that takes us to the end of our agenda. So I don't know if there's anything else people have that they would like to chat about. Okay, sure. We can stick around for a private session. The other thing, I guess I will mention, Paolo, I think that your nomination has been open long enough. I'll have to double check like the number of people and stuff, but if it's all in line, I will start your onboarding as soon as like sometime today.
Amazing.
Oh,
Amazing. Do I need to be online for that, or we can do it asynchronous way?
yeah, I think I can, there's a checklist, so I'll go through the checklist and I might ask you to do things like there's some things like, hey, assert that you've read this and can agree and stuff like that. So I think we can mostly do it
Okay.
asynchronously in the issue itself. And then afterwards, if you have any questions or whatever, like I'm happy to set up a short time to get together or something like that.
Amazing. Works wonderfully to me.
Okay. So yeah, so thanks everybody for the public session. And if everybody can stick around for a short private session, we will stop this.